Hi, guys. Hello. Let's see if everybody is coming on. We are talking about. We are talking. Oh, there we are. More people coming in. That's cute. That is cute. Let's see here if I'm getting uploaded here on. We're talking about alchemy today. Getting some videos here. Cool. Let me see here. Get this. There we are. Got my new outfit on. Let's see here. Whew. So, yeah. Wow. Cheers. You're. Oh, I have to hit this one. There we go. Okay, we are live. And we're talking about alchemy. We are live on Instagram, on YouTube, and we have some people at Hövik tuning in, a little group, so that is kind of a new energy. Both having a place online, which is kind of just setting the intention of moving energy, setting the intention of receiving and partaking. But also the other side of then having a physical space that we have now, a little bit more of a retreat space, is kind of getting more connected to the community. So sometimes you can feel the community just by texting and seeing other people on Instagram or YouTube, but just kind of being in the presence of this space that we kind of have created at Hövik, which is kind of required some preparation, that the people kind of holding or hosting the space has also kind of been preparing for this for a while. So it is beautiful to see some people coming in, and this is kind of like a continuation of the retreat. We had a retreat here 2 weeks ago, 2.5. And a retreat is kind of setting the intention, kind of coming together, whether you kind of came one-on-one or at the retreat, or maybe like in the aftermath of the retreat, like into a Wisdom Wednesday like this. There's like a wave of energy of wanting to come together and kind of open up, that you are kind of there and to like flow with, to open with, and to kind of allow yourself to be kind of riding this flow, allowing you to surf this flow. And that is kind of the beauty of a retreat or these Wisdom Wednesdays, is that it's kind of opening up this space inside of you for you to kind of like be nourished. And when we talk about being nourished, it is because it's just kind of a little baby, kind of sucking on the nipple, being nourished by something that is seemingly outside of yourself, but that is kind of the natural flow of life. It's like having a mom and you kind of are given nourishment. In the same way, being guided and allowed to partake and to find a simplicity that is within us, that is also nourishment. When we kind of meet different people, when we meet somebody creating the internet, that is also nourishment. Somebody simplifying, somebody inventing the wheel. It's a simplification. It's creating a ground for you to kind of partake and step into the ease of life, the easiness of life, so to speak. And we have kind of, through living, we've kind of gone from a society that was like Stone Age, like everything you had to go out and hunt for food. You had to go out and struggle more. Like you have to out and fight for your protection. So it was more like a survival energy. And then there might be some people on top, hidden away someplace, that kind of were like the kings and queens. And yet we now have kind of come and start to create a way where we all can kind of, no matter where you are, you can literally get online. You can start kind of receiving more of the higher education and more of the higher teachings of life. Mind you that the higher teachings of life requires kind of, something that like, oh, I kind of want to seek that. I want to put focus into that. You can just be like told by a mom or a dad, just do this, do that, get job, everything, or family, just do this. But the other side of it, I'm gonna move this one a little bit like this. There we are. The other side of this is that we can kind of become a child that is just given. So you see in the West, we are kind of given all these things. We have internet, we have money, we have enough. We're privileged, some people would call it that. But it is kind of an upgrading, process that we kind of create more and more luxury in a way. Life can become luxury. You can kind of literally have anything. And yet that is where suddenly people start realizing that even if you have everything, there is still kind of the higher teachings that is within us that is given to us when we suddenly realize that maybe these like basic needs is not going to just suffice for us to kind of reach the higher realms of existence. So that is why it's such a beautiful thing to kind of, with the internet and, Instagram and Zoom and our YouTube and everything, then these teachings can be given more easily and they can be put out there, and yet people can listen to them, and without kind of putting something in there like an appreciation, be like, oh, well, this is my gift, but I also have to dare to give, to receive. That is where, because the teachings of life is that of abundance. And abundance kind of comes in the energy of whatever, if you want money, you have to dare to spend money. If you want wisdom, you have to dare to spend to receive. That is the energy of kind of connecting to this space. So, I've had many people kind of come in and just get a free book or watch this for free, all the stuff where they get free adjustment or stuff, but then they disappear because on a deeper level, on a soul level, you are not going to receive a gift without giving, because then you are still saying that I want to just be in survival mode where everything should be free and I should just be taken care of. And being taken care of is kind of as at the child level, we are taken care of, we are given school, the basic. And then when it comes to the higher teachings, then we have to dare to be like, wow, I really want to put my time into this. Really want to dare to show up. I want to dare to put my money into it. It means that you dare to see that I prioritize this over other things. That is where you start to see what path you are on. Because many people can say, well, I'm on that. Oh, I want the higher wisdom. I want the higher teachings. But then they're not putting their time. They're not putting their physical presence in there. They're not putting their money in there. So will have many people, if you be like, oh, you should come to this Wednesday and you should check it out. Then we be like, well, I checked it out, but like the whole YouTube is kind of like almost like a cheating. Everybody's like watching each other, checking everything out. It's almost like scoping up. It's a little illegal. You can find everything out there, and yet the whole process is that to come to the higher levels of teaching, there's an honoring going on. And the honoring in time, space, and effort, which is money. Time, space. So time, showing up, physically being somewhere, which helps, like these spaces at Hövik. But also you could lay in your own bed sometimes. It depends, it depends what fits into the flow of your life. So but yeah, so then that is kind of what we have kind of created now, both the time and potential to give donations, give money back. But also then we have kind of created the first space now at Hövik, which there's literally like just a free space where you can kind of come and partake, and it's a neutral space. So, and when you come to a neutral space, that is where we can kind of literally like allow the energy to just kind of flow, because nobody's trying to control the space. And that's kind of the reason for these teachings are that we have a tendency to become dependent upon each other. When we are a baby, we are kind of dependent upon our mom or dad for a little bit. But then that dependency becomes easily that they will kind of unconsciously become a little addicted to the power of being the teacher, being the authority. They want to guide you, and then that guidance can become fear-based instead of that of ease and like fearlessness and being like abundant and thriving, a different focus. So when you meet these teachings, then you could see that sometimes your partner or your kids or your parents or your friends might be like, no, I don't think you should come to this, because they will sense that you are awakening something inside of you, a freedom inside of you. And in that freedom, that is threatening. It's kind of like you're doing something illegal, because you're breaking out of the rules of just being carried and carry others. So what we kind of get into being a mom or a teacher or having a job or, being a friend, we can easily start carrying people or being carried by others. So that is where like unconsciously we can kind of it's easy to just lean on people or let other people lean on you, but that is the power game. That is like kind of the lower level of energy in your hips, the sexual energy. That is where that kind of is more of a survival mode, instead of allowing this energy to kind of start to harness. And that's where the word alchemy comes in. We're allowing this energy to move within the body instead of just, I feel something, take a drug. I feel something, I eat this. I feel something, I fix this. All this kind of survival mode focus of using your energy and being like everybody wants to like take away your worries, take away your struggles, take away your sorrows, take away your ideas, your identity, and just coddle you and just let you be. So so from that kind of basic level, that is where we kind of been for a while, because that's where society easily gets stuck in. Most societies, even spiritual societies, get stuck in who's the teacher and who's the disciple and who's all this, who's my friends and who's my not, and who do I invite and who don't. That even comes in here. Who's showing up? So, but from that, we can kind of, when we start to realize that our body can have a different focus than that of sexuality, then the body can start moving to the second level of awakening, which is more the heart space, which is where this teaching comes more in, because you kind of have to see that you can get stuck in all these different ways of relating to different people. And we kind of unconsciously do this. So everybody do all this stuff naturally, unconsciously, because we kind of take it over from our parents. So as we kind of realize that we might be a little stuck, we're always relating to people, we're always having this kind of role with our parents, and we kind of are not really communicating with our husband or wife or with our brother or our sister. We're all fighting about inheritance or different stuff. Then we can kind of come to a place that we're realizing that we can kind of come to that of the heart. And the heart space is there to kind of go from that of being wounded and carried, which also is the heart, but that is just like kind of that of pity and being taken care of, to that of thriving and loving. And that is where this teaching is brought to you as life, and life is what you see. These teachings are what you experience, like the energy is there, the freedom in this space. Here, when you're relaxing, you might just be kind of like not necessarily listening so much to what I talk about, because it's not the most important part. It is more just being here. And when you are daring to see the intention of this, of life, and realizing that life can awaken, it can become alive, then we're not just stuck in the ego of survival, but then we can start to dare to love it, we can dare to enjoy it, we can dare to allow it. And allowing with the mind can say like, okay, I'm going to test this out. So if you're new and you're like, oh, I like this, or there's just something here, and I say, okay, I'm going to show up, I'm going to allow it for a while. And then if you're more in the heart, you can be like, I'm feeling kind of like a connection here, something, an emotion. It feels like it's nourishing in my soul or my darkness, or an emotions, or like a love, or different emotions or you can feel triggered and be like, oh, there's something going on. Or you can feel like with your body that there's a physicalness, so there's like an energy to it. So that you have to dare to allow this. That is like you're connecting with the energy within you. You're daring to leaning into the body, leaning into your emotions, leaning into your mind. And when this happens and you dare to open that, this is kind of an alchemical process, then this can start to move the energy and allow this to kind of dance. And then from that movement, there's a release going on, and there's suddenly a rise of energy. And then we can go from the lower levels of energy to the higher levels of energy. So there's this acceptance coming in that, ooh, I rise beyond, above it. I let this energy rise beyond. So all this is still kind of stuck in the masculine part of our energy, of our ego. We're kind of connecting to that side of the ego, of kind of seeing and engaging with it. And then from there, we can stop into the feminine side. The feminine side being more the sexuality of it, being more the soul of it, being more the spirit of it. And these kind of require the opposite engagement. They are not there to be leaned into, because they are more of desire. So if you lean into the desire, into the soul too much, or into you're holding on to it. Because from the feminine, when you hold on to something, it becomes you're hoarding onto. Probably have some friends that just I want everything. The feminine is more like kind of the riches. I want everything. That's the other side, is to dare to let go, and let go of, surrender to it, surrender from it, letting go of the sexual, letting go of the soul, letting go of the attachment to these things. And so that's where we're coming into the soul, or the spiritual side of it, where in this surrender, we are awakening the ease. A different energy comes in, and we can start to manifest into our spiritual being as we connect with the lower levels of the ego to the higher levels of the soul. And then the spirit kind of comes in and becomes where you can kind of step into body being, where you are that spiritual being that are centered in the body. So, hold on, I'm getting a new. So, this process is natural, and yet, since we've kind of been taught, and everybody around us is kind of holding on to us, like, now my mom is calling. So this process is kind of natural, but yeah, like my mom, your family have a tendency to, or your mom or dad and everything. Yeah, there she goes. These attachments, we're kind of wanting to ride on each other. It's like my mom saying, "Oh, you have the genes of me." When they say it, it's almost like, "Oh, you're probably gonna have the same life as I do." It's kind of like, "Oh, you're not gonna thrive more. You're not." It's almost like we kind of are a little scared of letting people be and thrive. So that is where society is. Everybody's like, watch, how much are they making? How much are they like? Do we have enough? Everybody's, even in Norway, we think, oh, we are such an enlightened society where we have enough, but yet we're still looking to have ours, what is belonging to us. And then you see like people from other societies, like more tribal societies in Africa and stuff, they're actually kind of they need a different understanding. They usually, when they're raised, they kind of get a more connection to the tribe and getting lifted and created an honor of taking care of everybody. So then sometimes when they suddenly come into Norway, they suddenly can be like, oh, there's free money and we can just like live, and the society pays for us. We don't really need to pay. It is beautiful. They come here and be like, wow, everything is free. And yet, when everything is free, you're also just beholden. Like my uncle coming home from the Philippines, like, and not getting a job, but then he's getting paid to live. But it kind of prevents him from thriving, because there is rules. You can't be out, you can't do this, you can't do that. And instead of thriving, you are kind of held down. So that is where society, your friends, everybody can kind of hold you down, because everybody's like in this unconsciously competition mode, while we are kind of ready to start moving beyond, to kind of ascend to the higher realms of life, to realize that we kind of want freedom. I mean, to have freedom, we have to there also to give freedom. But then sometimes we can't really give freedom unless we know what freedom is ourselves. So that's where like we kind of need guidance from people that know freedom, and not necessarily lean on just friends that are kind of more interested in just having you. So there's a journey of awakening, of processing this, and kind of moving through this journey of releasing that we are going through. So when we have had a retreat and everybody's kind of moved energy, then it kind of keeps a wave that is digested later afterwards. You suddenly will feel more energy, and you kind of get a little spaced out, but you get pushed into your ego, into your physical energy, into your emotional energy, into your mind energy, into your soul, into your sexual energy, all this stuff that are kind of unconsciously stuck in our body. And then we will suddenly realize that people at work suddenly will comment and be on your family, or your daughter, or your sister, or your parents. People will start to kind of like be a little competitive. And also sometimes at work, or like your body might suddenly release some stuff. There's like, I've had some people kind of after this retreat kind of saying that they suddenly got a little cold or sick for a week or two, or suddenly had a diarrhea or different stuff, because the body starts releasing. So the process of kind of the Wisdom Wednesdays and daring to show up is that these changes are a little bit unnoticeable to our ego, to ourselves, because we're not used to looking at ourselves from the outside. But by showing up and kind of daring to like tune in once a week, and to kind of, and then maybe like ask a question once in a while afterwards, or DMing me, then you start to like, another part of you started awakening, that of the soul, that of the spirit, where you start to like notice that maybe your dreams are changing, maybe your body feels different, maybe your emotions, you start to notice different things starting to happen, transpire. And that is that kind of alchemical process that is really beautiful and fun in this process, that I've been kind of doing for more like almost 30 years, where everything starts softening, and your connections to your emotions, connections to your thoughts, connection to your sexuality, to your body, to your energy, to your life, to your work, everything can start getting like small instances of freedom, more nooks of like reflections and wisdom come in. So that's kind of what we're doing here. I might have mentioned it before, but every time is a little different, because it's not the words. Words can seem the same, but it is that the energy that is available. And that's where like the daring to kind of give a contribution, if you are like new here, and if you are watching somewhere in the world and daring to like give, then you can go to my web page. There's a donation link there, or you can reach out and ask, where do I donate? Where do I give something? Because if you want to come in, the door is open, but you have to step through. That is like a physical, just like our physical presence. In Norway, there is a space where you can walk through. It kind of simplifies just being in that space. And everybody feels it a little differently. So I have some people in California, new people coming in that are finding my book. My books are coming more out now. There's different ways of connecting, and when you dare to connect to a space that is more free, then there's also this beautiful energy within you that can start to be released alchemically, move through your body instead of just be burnt up, just be used for survival. This is kind of for thrival, for thriving. So too funny. So if you haven't already kind of laid down, some of you might listen, then it's kind of just like laid back and sit back in your room. It's like, or in your bed or wherever you are, and let yourself kind of like receive. This is literally a space, an opening, a connection to something inside of you that opens this space of energy, allowing it to kind of come in. It's like this brightness of energy of spirit. And spiritual energy has such a high vibration that it kind of just, well, most of us are just kind of not allowing that in because it kind of requires more persistent perseverance, surrender, kind of requires you to have kind of done more spiritual practice, or kind of, I feel like you have a little bit more maturity than other people, that you are pretty fine in your life, but then you're still kind of looking for maybe there's deeper levels that you can kind of come into. Deeper levels. I have like a little triangle here today. Yeah, so if you're still having your eyes open, maybe you want to close them and just kind of lean back, letting your shoulders, letting your breath just kind of release, letting your jaw kind of just drop, your head kind of drop back, your neck kind of open up, lay back. As you kind of lay back in your couch or on your bed or on the floor, and just let yourself just ease, relax, ooze into the space. Yeah, and letting it coming through the chest down. It's almost like that's the beautiful energy. You kind of have to wait for it. You have to kind of be a little patient. Come down into your body. It's like a kiss of the divine. It's like a hug of the silence outside of you, the energy body within you, without you, the community, the people laying around you, or being on this other side of this computer or on your phone, on Instagram. And let it kind of drop down, continue down. And you might have already fallen asleep or whatnot. Everybody's kind of moving through it in different ways. But the body's kind of taking over, and then the energy, my guidance is more just bringing a little bit of focus, awareness that The energy is moving through, so just dare to allow it. And then it comes down into your hips, and you might feel a little tension, or you might lift your legs, or have your feet like in a little bit of an uncomfortable position. But you might also just start to notice that you might just want to put your feet down, stretch them out, let you open up your thighs, your knees, opening up your hands, your wrists, your fingers, your thumbs, shaking loose your shoulders a little bit more, shaking loose your hips a little bit more. And just kind of enjoying this gentle energy that is just coming in. This wise, beautiful, nourishing energy that is available when you allow it. And then it's almost like heating up in your feet, in the bottom of your soul, as it kind of moves down. It's like a burning down when it moves down into the roots, into the floor, into the soil. You can feel some tension in your jaw or in your face or in your chest and in your thighs and in your hips as this energy starts coming up between your legs again. Yeah, and in your feet, the bottom of your feet, it kind of just comes up. It's almost like an itching and heat and stiffness in your feet. It's like a wave of energy is coming up into your groin, your butt. It starts filling you up again, cleansing, releasing, transforming, like alchemy. Yeah, then filling up your chest, like your breath, like just filling you. It's like the non-breath. It's not the focus of breathing. It's the focus of not breathing. It's just the allowance, allowance. And then it fills up your chest and your jaw, and it's like a yawn. It's like when you get like tired and it just kind of comes up into your face, fills it up your face and your head and your shoulders, and it kind of stretches out through your head just like a cat just stretching, or like an orgasm, or just having run or done something and you just sit down and have a glass of wine and you're like, it's good to just come back in. Good. And you can start coming back in and just shake those fingers and toes. It's kind of like what we do, like whether it's a retreat or a Wisdom Wednesday retreat or a session or one of is moving through and kind of allowing this process that I've kind of been going through for many years myself. So it's just kind of sharing and a guidance in this energy. And yeah, if you're wondering, thank you for, or it was good to see you guys, and thank you for your donations, however you are doing that. Whether it's in Norway or in America, or PayPal or whatnot, that is a beautiful way of honoring the space, honoring the love, receiving the body, receiving yourself as this lovely embrace. Good. And yeah, please, if you are new here, please like and subscribe, either use YouTube or Instagram, or comment or ask questions, or let me know how it felt. And yeah, and then I might bring it up into next time, or I might comment directly, or yeah, it's fun. There's a lot of new people coming into the space, so that is the bigger the space, the more, yeah, the faster the energy goes, and the more we are lifting the space together. So that is beautiful. And yeah, if you're here and I don't see you, give a little comment and I see who you are. And it's always fun to see who's there. I see some people on a picture, and other people might be like, I'm here. And, or if you're watching this later, or have some people watching it later today or this weekend, you also say hi and liking it. So that's always fun. The energy works whether you watch it live or not. So that is where it is a beautiful kind of honoring and simplicity to it. Anyway, I will talk to you guys soon, and it was beautiful. And I will talk to some of you guys later. And yeah, bye, guys. See ya.